The Match Ball.
Hi, welcome to the show. We are streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members, of which I noticed there are more of them tonight, by the way. Well, those fair weather pricks.
Get out. Get out unless you're for Luton. I didn't want to be here either after Luton. It's fine.
You can watch the show later on YouTube. You can listen in your podcast app as well. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Michael, go!
Personal dispute resolution.
We're so happy with the legal
Personal
services
injury.
tonight.
Medical negligence. I've got the full website open here. Lasting powers of attorney. Not just powers. All good stuff. Will's probate conveyancing as well.
10% discount on your legal fees. On the full range of services, details and terms on the website, LeviSolicitors.co.uk.
All right. Good read.
Yeah! Well, we weren't worried ever, were we? Don't know what we were worried about.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Aldi closed 17 minutes ago, so there's no Aldi for me tonight.
You can still go.
Just sit in the car park.
Just peer in.
Crying.
There might be some people in there stocking up or whatever.
Yeah.
You'd knock on the door.
You could buy some coffee to go with your
Dan James mug?
Dan James mug.
Dan James mug.
There you go.
At thesquareball.net.
Go to a services, buy a coffee, pour it into that.
Yep. You're not buying coffee from services anyway. Bloody hell, that was a bit much, wasn't it?
It was a lot.
That was a bit much. We titled the episode with Bryn, It's All a Bit Much, and that was very much a bit much.
It was easier when I'd lost hope. It was so much easier, wasn't it?
This was always going to be a chaotic game. It nearly always is down there. Even the 1-0 in the last promotion season felt quite scary for most of it.
I'm trying to remember that.
It was on a Wednesday night in February.
Going to admit, lads, I didn't really watch much of that second half. Did I? Did I now?
You went to the toilet and I think you went for about 10 to 15 minutes then.
Good nervous poo.
And then you were gone again for quite a time. We've not seen an end to a game like that in a long time, have we? Just us defending. And I don't think we're necessarily very good at it, given how many times it just ricochets them in the box. And it seems to always be that Bergzog just hitting it across goal and wide.
And yet, there's a weird satisfaction in it as well, because my big worry in the last few weeks was that we weren't fighting enough and we weren't scrapping enough, and we had to dig in and scrap tonight. So it was nice to see something more recognisable or, less I was going to say less terrifying. It wasn't less terrifying, but you know what I mean? But just digging it to get to the end of it and have not conceded, you think, yes, it was great. But it wasn't at the time. I hated every second of it.
It was dirty.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was a dirty game. Leeds won dirty. Not in the conventional sense of 2 disallowed goals, but dirty in that they actually got down and basically took Borough on and defended well against them, which we haven't done at times. We've been too clean.
Yeah. But when you got, pretty much the last thing that happened in the game, wasn't it? Was Pat Bamford doing a slide tackle. And you're like, come on, everyone.
Yeah.
Get stuck in.
Celebrate that like a goal. I mean, look, we can't go much further without talking about we've only got a caption for Dickhead Ref, but Dickhead Ref and friends. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 2 disallowed goals. Second one, I can understand given the speed and the movement of the game. You should still get it right because that's your job. The first one is absolutely inexcusable, but then they're compounded by one another, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it was set up perfectly, wasn't it, for us to not win that?
Yeah.
And this to be, added to our list of lifelong grudges that we have to still talk about 50 years after, potentially, and being like, do you remember that night at Middlesbrough when we could have gone top, but we had 2 perfectly good goals disallowed and we ended up finishing 3rd? Didn't happen, though.
Chris,
Didn't happen.
What's going to happen with the PG MOL?
Get the old template apology out. Well, maybe they won't now because we won. Oh, well, no, we won.
Surely
we
still
won last time.
apologise.
Just send, we get it. Just send Farke an email and go, no, you're right. Sorry again or something.
It was the same. You were saying as well. I think it was a Baron tweet, in fairness, so we should give him credit. Same linesman you said who wrongly disallowed goals against Coventry and someone else. Millwall.
Yeah. Farke has actually addressed it already in the post match. I'm just digging through the YouTube comments in order to get it on screen. But could you say something in a slightly effeminate German way, Michael, and we'll pick it up in due course?
Really disappointed, the linesman.
That's 3 times, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, sorry.
That's 3 times now.
Yeah.
And it's really, really disappointing. Midweek time. But yeah, it was bad because it looked onside in real time, and then you saw the replay, and Tanaka's he's the nearest player to the linesman as well. There's just no, and there were 2 players playing him on. There's nothing. There's not a single excuse.
Genuinely inexcusable, that isn't it? Inexcusable.
And lines, that is very if you've ever even run the line at like Sunday League or something, it is really difficult. But, these are professionals.
This isn't the Sunday League.
No,
it's
exactly.
the Championship, and they're getting paid to do it.
And they are generally very good at it. But
I think they'll be very happy that Leeds ended up winning that game because you'd never hear the end of it otherwise. And rightly so. But I'm more thinking right now of the little moment at the end where Isaac Schmidt had the ball between his legs in the ground and did a wee spin. I really enjoyed that.
Sort of breakdancing manoeuvre.
Yeah, if somebody could gift that, I would really appreciate it.
Goodness me. Have we dealt with the ref and the officiating there? Because it's so egregious. It's obvious that there's no more to say about it. We could just pick the low hanging fruit. It's up to you.
Well, the thing is, it's not like one of those ones where you're debating whether or not someone should have been booked or sent off or a penalty. Like you are or you aren't if it's offside, aren't you? And you can look at it and go, yeah, he was on. So
I can't remember the last time it happened twice in a game.
No, I can't.
I'll say thanks to Neil, who's just sending me the comments. Yeah, he says he's laid into the officiating post-match saying they need to sort it out. They won't.
It's one of those things that's obvious to say, but the route to sorting it out is quite difficult, isn't it? Just beat them.
Farkas saying, why is he being sent to ref Leeds games? Correct. We should be able to pick the officials.
I mean, if you've got 3 offside calls wrong in a season, that's just in our games. That's probably quite a lot.
Yeah, to
have got wrong across the season. Sack him? Do we want a man to lose his job? I don't know.
I don't really care. To be honest,
give him a job. Let him sweep up at the offices or something for a year.
Do you want to shall we have a look at the momentum graph? Because that's quite a bit much. Got it on screen on the stream there. Look at it in that second half. That's not fun, is it?
Described as truly sickening by Donna in the comments.
Which so it was a bit more balanced in the first half. We came out of the blocks when I was having my nervous poo there early in the second half. Missed most of that. Should have scored again.
I think people probably preferred you talking about your spreadsheets than your nervous poo.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. You're in, aren't you? That's what you're going to get. And then there's a lot of them. It descended into a midfield battle, and then there's a lot of them towards the end, which I have to confess, I was just preparing things for the stream. I wasn't watching that last bit. What happened, lads?
A few half chances. I don't think there was there a golden one? I suppose the one Bergzog dragged one. He had a few quite similar chances. There was one that was better than the others where he dragged it far across the far post.
Yeah, I don't think we did it perfectly, but they did enough. It would have been nice to have just had an outlet of some description, because it basically ended up being Patrick Bamford against about 3 or 4 of their defenders who were stood 10 yards inside our half.
Yeah, it got to about 70 minutes, I think, and we were like, "Oh, are we just not having possession anymore?" Because we did give up at that point. Every touch of the ball was just launching it, often to no one at all. Like not even someone to just chase it and maybe get something on it. Just sometimes because everyone was already on the edge of our box, just going nowhere.
That's just said that Daniel Farke actually said that the officials have an incredible hard job in his interview on Sky. These things write themselves, don't they? God, goodness.
Tanaka in tears at the end. Just noticed that on the screen.
I'm going to put the table up because we're top of the league. Look at that. We're back to the top. We've like cowards. We've avoided it.
Yeah, damn right.
For the last couple of weeks because no one needed to see it. We can see it again now because we have gone back to the top of the league with that hard-fought victory. And we need to talk about those other results, actually. We did call this on the show with Bryn in the run-up to this.
We did.
These 2 results that happened tonight, almost.
We didn't call both of them.
Specifically. Yeah, I did say you could. Millwall are capable of Millwalling a team if Sheffield United didn't respond well to their defeat at the weekend, and I think it's safe to say they are now finished. They're a finished club.
It does look that way.
2 defeats on the spin is not a good time to do it.
Sunderland closing in rapidly, you would say, on them.
That's what 7 points.
Let's not worry about Sunderland at this stage. Get our faces back on screen anyway, Dan. People don't want to see this league table much longer.
I'll see your pretty face.
Yeah, I don't think the best way to come over losing at the weekend and having to go at your fans is to then lose 3 days later. It's a pretty bold strategy.
It's nice, isn't it? It's a proper Leedsy thing, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's sort of a double loss.
It's a shame Dean's not here to defend himself, by the way, because as Jim's pointed out, we're going to championship, which has been Dean's mantra this week, right? Which I know has annoyed people for him believing and being optimistic. You're a fool, Dean Smith. But it is, as tonight has proven. What a strange old game we watch.
Yep. And it looks like they pretty much, well, maybe they didn't deserve to lose, but it doesn't look like they were unlucky to, you would say. They've had a lot of the ball, but not all that many big chances. According to big chances, Millwall had more than Sheffield United, apparently.
Right.
They've had loads of shots, but clearly not good ones.
Their momentum graph is quite interesting.
Stark.
Yeah.
But then that's always going to be the way with Millwall, isn't it? That's kind of the way they set up and the way they try to win games. So when it happens to someone else, fine. When it happens against us, not fair.
Right. As James has just said, there's a comment on the screen saying it feels very strange to come out on the right side of a backs to the wall performance. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Have we actually had a game like that this season? I really don't think we have.
No, we've been so profligate in possession.
And so defensive for such a long period.
Can you remember one?
No, we're usually chasing it away from home is the thing. Whereas we were protecting the lead tonight.
Yeah, we scored too early, didn't we? A lot of game there to watch.
Well, you say
with
that.
With us holding on.
We should have been at least 2-0 at half time.
Yeah, we should. We should have.
Yeah.
And there were other chances too. There was like the Pirro one was where the keeper made a good save. That was a pretty good opportunity as well. And there were others where the Dan James one where he goes down the right and he crosses and there's Pirro and Solomon both kind of lurking. I think Solomon realises he's gone offside, so he checks his run. Although, given the linesman didn't fully understand the offside rule, he would have had a decent chance of just putting it in, see what the decision they make on it.
Yeah, you're also in the territory there of he owes Leeds one, so does he maybe let that one go?
Oh, I think that was before the disallowed Bamford one, wasn't it?
Speaking of, like, Pat Bamford, a fantastic, well-taken finish.
Yeah.
He held his run well. He did all of it. He's been robbed of a goal. If we're talking about Leeds winning 2-0 and Pat Bamford scoring what was the goal to kill the game, people are probably even a little bit more excited as well. But he looked good again tonight.
Would have been a beautiful bit of narrative as well, because he was just getting ready to go cup his ears, I'm fairly sure, to the Borough fans who booed him onto that pitch.
People have been robbed all over because it was Dan James's cross, wasn't it, for the Tanaka goal as well? That was a delightful ball, like on a plate for him. We're even robbed of the XG because it doesn't even count. If people are looking at the stats, the big chance count and all that stuff, they're wiped from the record, aren't they? Because they were offside. It's not fair.
Would you put him in for Saturday? That's what Fripp's Privilege is suggesting.
We're getting there, aren't we?
It depends how fit he is, I suppose. I mean, Pirro's had on a bad run as well, isn't he? That's the other thing. It's not like we're taking out someone who's even half in form. Like he's kind of stinking the place out, really.
You do have 5 subs now, and you are allowed to use them. You can use them at half time. You can use them after 60 minutes. You can use them after 70 minutes, as we know. You can even hook someone off after 28 minutes. You don't have to be Marcelo Bielsa to do that.
You can just do what you want.
Yeah, just do what you want. You're the manager.
Right, fair enough.
I do wonder about Bamford's fitness, whether or not you maybe see how it goes without him first, and then we, rather than run him into the ground.
Very important point. Joel is raising here that Bamford could well be on for our Player of the Year now.
Nah, no chance.
What if he gets 10s from everyone tonight?
Yeah, he's played lots of games this year.
Has he?
Yeah.
When?
Coming on for a bit.
Before.
I would say the 3-0 Borough League Cup loss will probably have done him in there. Unless the Leeds fans fully leads it and just give him 10s across the board.
Yeah, I think even then he'd probably struggle. He must have played a dozen games or something this season.
He played a handful earlier in the season. So
Sam's asking what part of the Bamford cycle we are in. We are in the...
He's the saviour.
Saviour driving us to promotion. He needs to be back in the team part of the cycle. That's where we are.
I'm still in the keep him on the bench part of the cycle.
Right.
And also in the waiting for him to be injured again. Because that's just part of the condition of Pat Bamford.
New 5-year deal, as Joshua's suggesting. Extend that contract, 1 more year left.
Let's see how that final year goes.
pay as you play.
Right. Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah,
that's absolutely fine. If he wants to convert his remaining year to that as well, I'd be willing to speak to him.
Right.
But I think maybe decide not to.
He's still a great all-round striker, and he's the player that people have been looking for. Obviously, he's got his finishing issues, but if he was fit, and it's a big if, you saw it last year from January to March. He was brilliant in that run.
It's always been the case, though, isn't it? If he's fit. But anyway, that feels like it feels like a discussion for another day. Though,
well,
really.
a lot of the frustrations around Bamford are effectively frustrations at the club as well, aren't they? Because it feels like we go year after year needing Bamford to be fit, and they could have just bought someone else who can do Bamford's job at some point. Because Pirro, there's not a chance you would compare the profiles of the two of them are completely different, aren't they? And they both maybe have a role to play.
Let's talk about the forward line and pivot into Farke watch and the starting 11, because Brendan comes back into the team at the expense of Nonto, who drops to the bench, and we sort of discussed that during that. I think it was the first half, was it? We were talking about that. Perhaps Chris, I can't quite remember, but you could sort of see the value of bringing Nonto on a little bit later on. Maybe have Aronson in there to do a lot of the donkey work during the game, just to do that running that you lack with Pirro at the top. I know that's why Farke obviously likes him in behind Pirro. So what did you make of the starting 11?
I had a fair idea that Aronson would come back in. I was also saying that Borough at home was probably his best game of the season, because it's a zippy about game. It's running around like, somebody called him a coked up bee in a jar? Was it at the QPR game maybe? So it suited. I thought he started quite well. He linked up quite well early in the first half, but he also
did that Zidane turn.
He did that Zidane turn, and then he did the Brendan Aronson thing of panicking, taking too many touches, and having no real game awareness. But yeah, like, did anyone really think he was going to start Nonto tonight?
No, I mean, nor should he have done really. I think the argument for starting Nonto would have been resting a winger to put him, give him a chance.
Which is what he did by bringing him on for Solomon.
Yeah. So, and I suppose if Solomon and James are both tired, scoring a goal in the second minute is a good way of getting around it. While you're still nice and fresh, just link up then. Unless
Chris said to do your subs after 3.
Yeah, get him straight off. Yeah,
because you can do that any time, you say.
Yeah, like special teams.
We should probably talk about the goal, actually.
Yes.
It was good, wasn't
it? It was a very nice little move.
Yeah, and it involved 2 of the front 3, 4, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, and the finish from Dan James is almost like he doesn't really kick it, does it? He just sort of lets the ball hit his foot because he's got in front. He spent all his time getting in front of the defender that by the time he gets there, he just has to sort of let it bounce off him.
Well, I think it's because he's so fast. He has to just let his body take him there. The brain is still going, right, well, when I get here, and by the time he goes, when I get here, the ball's already in the back of the net because he is just so quick. There was times in the Premier League when Bielsa was manager where you could see him going, he's trying to do stuff, but he's just too quick to be able to slow down and stop and turn. But great goal.
Oh,
all around.
Sickening scenes on the telly, though, talking about Dan James. Chris Gray reporting that Warnock was wanking over Dan James on Sky. No one needs to see that, do they?
Warnock was mainly like in the tackles and the headers. He does all that, doesn't he? He's got one show, hasn't he, Warnock? You know what you're getting. He's like a comedian who's been on the circuit since the 70s. He's just he'll do his usual.
I was waiting for Stuart Dallas to pat him on the back and tell him to have a good night and just walk off.
Mark's just suggesting that my body language is worrying. It's not. I've got a lot of pent up. I think, is it adrenaline tonight? I don't know what it is. It's a feeling I don't quite understand.
It's all the pharmaceuticals leaving your system.
Yeah,
that you've been sedating yourself with for a while.
Nature's pharmaceuticals.
You can get back on your spreadsheets now.
I inputted the results. Yeah, I haven't touched them properly. I was very disappointed with myself. They need updating now because I've left them alone for a couple of games. Right back in there. Get those formulas pumping out. Do you know what? I've got no interest in it now. I will fill my spreadsheets out just because I've come this far.
Okay.
But it's like, as I was saying in the run up to all this, it's like it's in the lap of the gods now, isn't it? It's one game at a time. Thankfully, we've just nudged ourselves back in front.
I think you can Excel your way to promotion or Google Sheets it, whatever it is.
It's Google Sheets, yeah.
It's Google Sheets.
Comes as part of our hosted email.
That's free.
Package.
Good.
Yes. Comments from Farke. Thanks to Ben for relaying these. Hopefully Ben's not lying. Felt tired at the whistle. Proud of my boys because it was a tough game. Overall, an advert for this league. Good football sides. Both had periods. Important to go back to a clean sheet. Had to dig in. One less day to rest. They were in red-hot form. And 2 goals wrongly ruled out. Great scenes from our players and our supporters. The difficult period when we had adversity against us. Found a way to win. No replacement for this winning feeling.
Games where people actually play are almost jarring to see it, I felt like. Like seeing a team not take ages over throw-ins. Just was like, all right, yeah.
Does that get on your tits? You've never mentioned it.
Yeah. But we're so used to it, aren't we? That teams come to slow the game down against us. It's what more or less every team does. So seeing a team not do that just felt very refreshing, and we won.
But then in that first half, they were at times giving us like acres to play in when you contrast it with what Luton were doing, which was just aggressively shutting down the centre of the park, being all over us, rash, and all that.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit jarring, seeing the amount of time we had sometimes to actually pass, and not always well.
No.
On occasions. But final comment was that Ben has relayed. Darla was there with one save after another. They had shots, but not too many clear-cut chances.
My favourite Darla bit was when he took that cross very late on and he just clutched it to his chest and lay down. I was like, ah.
You love keepers wasting time, don't you, when it's us?
Yeah, he says, yeah. No, just the fact he caught the cross, though.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's the sort of thing that when I see, if it had been Melier, I would almost not want him to hold it, because I know how that goes sometimes. And I won't want him to punch it because that'll give it straight back to him. So having a keeper just go, yep, mine, lovely, lay down with it. And he made one decent save, didn't he?
Yeah. He was just in the right place at the right time over and over again. That'll have done, if he needed any more confidence boosted, that'll have done a fair job on that. He took the piss with time wasting.
Oh, he did, yeah, massively.
Like 20 plus seconds with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. But we've seen keepers do it every single game, and refs just let him do it. It's weird. I don't understand why they're allowed to do it, but, you know, can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, I've advocated for cheating, so we should do more cheating. Apparently, Dan James might miss Saturday. Bit of an issue with the old hammy.
Oh dear.
Unfortunately, I hope he's lying.
Just teasing
Bit
it.
of kidology.
You can't necessarily know at this stage, I suppose. Although hamstrings.
Although we saw
tend to be quite bad.
Ramazan is his new best mate now.
Is he though? Because you didn't bring him on.
You saw him in the post match doing the yeah thing together. Just arms round each other at the end, kissing.
Right.
I look forward to seeing 90 minutes of Isaac Schmidt on Saturday.
I didn't mind Schmidt.
He played well.
I think, in fairness to tonight, I thought there was more of an argument for Schmidt because he is more defensive, and clearly the way we were playing at that point was defending. So it does make sense.
I've said it before. The people who know more about European football and obscure European football leagues than I do, we're talking about Isaac Schmidt as a potential Premier League or Championship left back, right back, whatever, long before Leeds signed him. So there's obviously something there, and I look forward to seeing more of it.
Another little change that was forced upon us was the injury to Pascal Struijk. Tracy asking, is it a coincidence that we returned to winning ways with Rodon Ampadu at the back together at centre half? Pascal getting injured has done Farker a favour. I have to say, I do prefer the two of them back there, personally.
I do as well.
Still think Struijk's a better defender, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
See,
I don't know.
I think his willingness to see danger and snuff it out, I feel like I think Ampadu just does a bit better on stuff like that. He's a bit more
like he did at Wembley.
Yes, like that.
Well, the last time before tonight that he played centre back, he got turned inside out by Isidore for that goal, didn't he? So
yeah, true.
I think the two really good runs in previous years, like last year and then the previous sort of good run with him at centre back, maybe I'd need to look at it, but we maybe not had as strong as the opponent.
Maybe so. I think what I like with Ampadu is that it's kind of the difference Liam Cooper made when he came back into the team when we were Premier League and trying to get by with Robin Koch, who just watched the game in front of him. Ampadu is more likely to step out and be proactive with stuff, I suppose, which if it goes wrong, obviously leaves a massive gap.
Yeah. It's also possible that Ampadu that Struijk is potentially the better centre-back, but Ampadu and Rodon is the better partnership and maybe they have a better understanding of each other.
It's the distribution that I like. I think it's so important to how we play at this level. Like you say, maybe there's a ceiling for it, Chris. But
see, Struijk Strout's passing something I'm not worried by though.
Yeah.
I do think that's probably the strongest
But
part of his game.
it looked to me like Ampadu was trying to do slightly rangier passes and go through the lines a little bit more. Vertical passing. What do you think of Gruev then, who was in front of him?
I was going to say we need to mention Gruev because he
took the midfield berth.
He's part of this, isn't he? And I know it's particularly first half, he was playing it, he was dropping into a back three with those two, wasn't he? And fullbacks were disappearing. So maybe he is key to it all, even though you don't really notice him.
Well, the last 2 away games that Gruev and Tanaka played in midfield, and you had Rothwell, Rodon, and Ampadu at centre back, was Watford and Coventry. 2 away wins, 2 away clean sheets. It's meaningless statistics without sort of deeper, further analysis, of course, but there is maybe something to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'd struggle to remember anything that Grove did tonight.
But he's like the water carrier kind of metronome sort of role, isn't he, in these games? Maybe we underappreciate him perhaps a little bit. See, because you've seen Tanaka alongside him. He wasn't great again tonight. Quite a few misplaced passes and maybe got in possession once or twice and was in tears at the end, no less.
Probably knackered.
Yeah. yeah, true.
Isn't that a rest?
But he catches the eye because he seems to be really situationally aware and turn out of trouble, and he does that sort of slightly flashier appearing football, whereas perhaps Gruev just does it a little bit more simply, and it isn't quite as attractive, but it is very, very effective in that deep role.
100%. It's kind of like, certainly not the same team, but if you look at Guardiola's Barcelona team, everybody talked about Xavi and Iniesta in that midfield, but without Busquets, none of that ever happened.
Ilya Gruev is Busquets.
He is the new Sergio Busquets.
Well, he did complete 57 of 61 passes.
Who? Ow.
No, Gruev.
Right. Okay. Regarding Tanaka, Farkas said that he was in tears in the dressing room here. Asked him why. He said, "I don't know, boss. I'm just so empty." He was so happy with the win.
Whereas Tanaka completed 33 out of 38. Right. Useless. Get rid.
Come on, generational talent has to have an off day now and again.
Yeah. But it just goes to show, Gruev actually was probably more key to that than we're giving him credit for, even though we are kind of giving him credit. We just can't remember anything he did.
Yeah, it's like, you've done your job. We don't really know what you did, but Leeds won, kept a clean sheet, and you were there, so that's cool.
Idle Matt's comment, Tanaka wasn't crying, it's just the atmosphere around Middlesbrough being so toxic. It'll literally burn your tear ducts. Hey, that's why they call them smoggies, isn't it?
What is this place? Why?
Dear me. So, what else do we have to talk about?
It's nice all playing on one night, isn't it? All out the way.
Yeah, because your stress is dealt with.
Get a night off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rather than going, I've got that other game to think about.
Yeah.
It was funny that obviously we were 15 minutes after, weren't we? So it was very early in the game, wasn't it? We found out Sheffield United had just gone a goal behind as well. So we were a goal up, they were a goal behind, and it was like, oh shit, just no one touch anything. This all needs to end just as it is now. And we can all have a lovely, lovely evening.
I think, when they were...
And as it was, nothing did change.
Was that about 20 minutes in or something?
It was about 5 minutes into our game.
Very early. We were in front of to blow up now.
Were you blowing an imaginary whistle at one point?
Yes, I was, Chris.
And as it turned out, they could have done, because all the results were unchanged from that point. So 5 minutes in, all done.
Yeah. I think we should maybe hunker down and get used to this for the next couple of games.
That's the piece I made with the things after I lost my shit on here post-Swansea. I think it was letting the hope go, which obviously it's been restored now because we're top and it's back in our hands, very much in our hands, especially with them two playing each other. So it is going to swing back the other way, but letting all that go.
It doesn't need to swing back the other way.
What, I shouldn't feel hope?
No, sorry, I thought you meant as in the league is going to and fro.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the pendulum of emotion.
Oh, okay, right.
But it was letting go of all the hope was it was quite cathartic and helpful, I think, in the end. So
we also play at the same time as Sheffield United on Saturday.
Right.
Burnley playing Friday night.
Who have they got this time?
I'll probably find that relatively easy to ignore, so I don't mind that.
Is it Norwich at home or away?
Norwich at home.
All right. Okay. Fine. I won't look at the spreadsheets because it'll just annoy you. If it was away, you'd maybe fancy to be a bit more of a grind, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it'd be nice to finish top after this weekend, and then we can we relax going into Easter? He says, voice going up an octave.
Well, if we can win our games up to the point Burnley and Sheffield United play each other, it means that one definitely is back in our pocket now, because we felt like we'd given that game up when we've been dropping points, because it was always the one we were looking at and going, but they still have to play each other. And then
a text off my dad will show you in a minute.
And then we just in dropping points, we just completely used that up in recent weeks. Be like, that's gone now.
But look at it this way, right? Look how tight it is at the minute. Game 44, that match, the Easter Monday fixture. If we win, there's a 5-point swing on one of the teams, at least.
I know.
It could be a 5-point swing on both of them, or it could be a 6-point swing on one of them. So it's a huge opportunity, which explains why even going into this game, because you looked at the odds, didn't you? Was it in the office yesterday, whenever? Just like, why are we still favourites?
Yeah, we were to win
and
it.
We're still quite heavily favourites, yeah.
We definitely will be now.
Yeah?
We were odds on to win tonight.
Yeah, we were.
Away from home against a team who are fifth.
Well, I know, because I've lost some money on it.
We've won 1 game since the end of February.
But I'd texted me saying my brain is fucked and well fucked. God above. Oh, dear me. Leeds United. It's not good for your health, is it?
That's good though, isn't it, really?
It's a thrilling ride.
Yeah.
All the same.
Yeah.
Like the sort of the low of Saturday. More so the low of the Swansea game.
Yeah, Swansea was the worst.
And then now we get to look forward to the Preston game. It could all go the
12:30
opposite
kickoff.
way. Exactly. It could all go the opposite way on Saturday. And if it does, so be it. Come in here, shout at the wall for a little bit, go home, then do it all again the Friday after.
Yeah. It's all going to be over soon. Mercifully.
Preston have drawn in the end tonight. Oh, 94th minute equaliser for Cardiff. That's good.
So Preston are 14th.
You've nothing to play for, lads.
Absolutely nothing to play for. It's Hecky. He should send him out just to roll over if he's got anything about him.
Yeah, because he had such a good time at Leeds.
Because of his loyalty to Leeds, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll do that, yeah.
Rodon versus Osmajic will be quite the battle on Saturday.
Hopefully the FA disciplinary people will get right on top of that situation, so it's a non-event.
Or Rodon just gets right on top of his Achilles in the first 5 minutes. Lets him know.
Would accept.
It's an option, isn't it? Get him riled up, get him sent off.
Oh no, I think Chris is thinking of ending his career.
Oh right, okay.
Just fully severed Achilles.
Fair enough. Optimism. Michael, hit me.
Well, it's sort of back, isn't it? We are top. It's properly in our hands now. I know it sort of was before this, but it's in our hands with a bit of padding.
Right.
If that's a thing that you do when something's in your hands. Kind of lost the metaphor.
What have you had in your hands
that's had some padding on it?
That's had some padding.
I don't know. An egg. I always put my egg handling gloves
on. What about
on.
those big ice hockey shin pads?
I've never handled them.
No.
I was thinking of something. I'm holding something, and I've applied some anyway.
Completely threw you there. I'm glad I did. Just to bring it back on message, Mark says, Chris, that's you over there. Chris, can you bring some Northern Irish pessimism to the party? I'm not sure I can cope, says Mark.
See, I'm a child of the Good Friday Agreement. It's only positive vibes from here.
Yeah. Hands across the division?
Something like that, yeah. I've got a good ice hockey story, but we'll save it for extra time.
Oh, that's a good sell,
tease.
actually. Yeah, we'll spin over to extra time now, actually, because we've got to get out of here before it all goes noisy. Alarm, building, close. Time up on the match ball. Members, thank you for joining us on the live stream. We do appreciate it. And in the audio version, we'll stick around now for some extra time, some bonus chat exclusive to the audio version. The squareball.net/plus. There on the website, you will also find the Dan James mugs that Chris is waving at the camera right now.
And to tease, there's some more stuff coming to the website tomorrow.
There is. Tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of us playing Barcelona in the European Cup semi-final, which obviously led to us winning the European Cup, as we all know. Yep. So we've got some stuff, some clobber.
Keep an eye on the stuff.
Some stuff to read.
There's some things happening.
Some stuff to listen to. All that stuff that we do will be at the squareball.net. So look out for that. And Propaganda's going to be slightly later in the week this week.
It's going to be on Thursday.
Yeah, so look out for that.
Hopefully.
Might actually be fun.
Hopefully some Sad Borough fans.
Hopefully. See you in a bit then. We'll wrap it up there. Whew.
The Match Ball.